What if the moment that looked like the ultimate defeat was actually the most powerful victory ever won in our history? What if the darkest hour ever recorded was not the end of the story, but the hinge on which all of human history turns? That is exactly what Matthew 27 is asking us to sit with. And it is not comfortable, but it is necessary. Because you cannot fully understand the resurrection without first standing at the cross. As they led Jesus out of the city, they seized a man named Simon of Cyrene, a stranger, someone who had simply come into Jerusalem from the countryside that morning. They compelled him to carry the cross. He didn't volunteer, he didn't have a choice. But in that compulsion, Simon of Cyrene became part of the greatest story ever told. Sometimes God places you in a moment you didn't choose, on a road you didn't plan, carrying something you didn't expect. And what feels like an imposition turns out to be an honor beyond anything you could have arranged for yourself. They came to a place called Golgotha, the place of the skull, and there they crucified him. Matthew doesn't linger on the physical details. He simply says, they crucified him. 3 words. The weight of which no sentence in any language has ever fully carried. Above his head they placed the written charge against him. This is Jesus, the King of the Jews. They meant it as mockery. God meant it as announcement. The sign they posted in contempt was the truest thing said that day. 2 rebels were crucified with him, one on his right and one on his left. Even in death, he was placed between the broken and the guilty. That is where he has always chosen to be. Those who passed by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross. The chief priests, teachers of the law, and elders joined in. Save yourself, they said. He saved others, but he can't save himself. They meant that as mockery. But it was the most profound theological statement made at Calvary. He could not save himself and save us at the same time. He chose us. Let him come down from the cross, and we will believe in him. But here is what they didn't understand. It was precisely because he stayed on the cross that there is anything to believe in. Anyone can come down from a cross. It takes a different kind of love entirely to stay on one. From noon until 3 in the afternoon, darkness came over all the land. Not clouds, not weather, darkness. As if creation itself could not bear to watch what was happening to its creator. And then, at 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, my God, why have you forsaken me?" That cry is perhaps the most searingly human moment in all of Scripture. The Son of God, voicing the full weight of abandonment so that no human being who ever felt forsaken would feel it alone. He didn't cry out from a place of unbelief. He cried out to God. Even in the darkest moment, his face was still turned toward the Father. That is what faith looks like at its most raw and most real. Some standing there misunderstood and thought he was calling for Elijah. One ran and offered him wine vinegar on a sponge. Others said, "Leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to save him." And then Jesus cried out again in a loud voice and gave up his spirit. He didn't have his life taken, he gave it. There is an immeasurable difference between those two things. And in that moment, something extraordinary happened. The curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. From top to bottom. Not from the bottom up, as a human hand would tear it, from the top down. God tore it, the curtain that separated humanity from the Holy of Holies, the place of God's presence, was gone. That curtain represented everything that stood between a broken humanity and a holy God. And the moment Jesus breathed his last, God reached down and removed it. Access granted, forever. The earth shook, the rocks split, tombs broke open, and many holy people who had died were raised to life. Even the ground beneath the cross could not stay still. Creation responded to what had just happened. When the Roman centurion and those guarding Jesus saw the earthquake and all that had happened, they were terrified and said, "Surely he was the Son of God." The confession came from the most unlikely place. Not the religious leaders, not the disciples. A Roman soldier, a man trained in violence and empire, standing at the foot of the cross, undone by what he had witnessed, speaking the truest words of the day. God has a habit of placing the most important declarations in the mouths of the most unexpected people. He is not limited to the qualified. He is not confined to the prepared. And there, watching from a distance, were women. Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James and Joseph, the mother of Zebedee's sons. They had followed Jesus from Galilee, They stayed when everyone else had gone. When the disciples fled, the women remained. When the crowd dispersed, the women stayed. There is something about faithful presence in the darkest moments that God never forgets and never wastes. Now, step back from Golgotha and let this passage speak into the ordinary places of your life. Because the cross is not just an event to be commemorated. It is a truth to be lived inside of. Think about Simon of Cyrene, compelled into a moment he didn't choose. Are you carrying something right now that you didn't sign up for? A burden that found you rather than one you sought? Because there is something only you can carry to where it needs to go? Think about the darkness from noon to 3. 3 hours where the light disappeared and nothing made sense. Most of us have lived through our own version of those 3 hours. A season where clarity vanished, where God felt silent, where the darkness was so complete you couldn't see your hand in front of your face, and it felt like it would never lift. But the darkness lasted 3 hours. Not forever. It had a beginning and it had an end. And the moment it lifted, the curtain tore and the earth shook and nothing was ever the same again. Your 3 hours of darkness are not permanent. They are purposeful. And what God is doing in them is far larger than what you can see from inside them. Think about that curtain torn from top to bottom. Whatever has kept you feeling separated from God, whatever shame or failure or history has made you feel like the Holy of Holies is not for someone like you. The curtain is already torn. God already removed the barrier. You don't have to earn your way to His presence. You don't have to clean yourself up before you come. The way in is open. It has been open since Friday afternoon. And think about the centurion. Converted not by a sermon but by a moment. Not by an argument but by a witness. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for the people around you is simply let them see how you face your cross. Your faithfulness in the hard season is a testimony that no platform can manufacture. The way you stay when staying is costly. The way you love when love is expensive. People are watching, and what they see matters. The women at the cross teach us something we desperately need to hear. Sometimes faithfulness looks like simply not leaving, not having the right words, not knowing what to do, just staying. Stay. When it's dark, stay. When it's loud, stay. When the crowd is gone and the ground is shaking and nothing makes sense, stay. Because the people who stay at the cross are always the first ones to see what comes next. Whatever cross you are standing near today, whatever darkness has come over your land, whatever curtain is tearing in your life right now, you are not watching defeat. You are watching the hinge between what was and what is coming, between the grave and the garden, between Friday and Sunday. And Sunday is already written. It has always been written. If this reached something in you today, share it with someone who is standing in their own darkness. Remember that 3 hours always has a limit, and the curtain is already torn for you too. Subscribe if you haven't already. Every week we bring you moments from the greatest story ever told, moments that reach across centuries and speak directly into our lives right now. Don't miss what's coming next. From everyone here at Grace and Truth, peace be with you, and thank you for watching.